Let me ask you something real quick. How many times have you told yourself, I just need more discipline, and then felt worse when it didn't work? Because that was me. Every single day. I thought discipline was the answer to everything. If I could just wake up earlier, push harder, force myself to focus. So I tried. 5 a.m. alarms, cold showers, zero excuse rules. And for a while, it looked impressive. But here's the plot twist. The more I forced discipline, the harder focus became. By noon, my brain felt heavy. By evening, I was taking a short break that somehow lasted 2 hours. By the end of the week, I was burnt out and angry at myself. And that's when something clicked. My focus didn't triple because I became tougher. It tripled when I stopped forcing discipline altogether. Stay with me because this part changes everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody tells students or creators. Discipline is a limited resource, and most of us are spending it on the wrong things. Think about a normal day. You wake up and immediately fight yourself to get out of bed. Then you fight yourself not to check your phone. Then you fight yourself to start studying. Then you fight yourself to keep going. By the time you actually need deep focus, you're empty. Micro cliffhanger. What if the problem isn't your lack of discipline, but how early you wasted? That was my mistake. I treated discipline like a weapon, something I had to swing harder every day. But focus doesn't respond to force, it responds to alignment. Let me explain with a painfully relatable example. You sit down to study, books open, laptop ready, everything looks right. But inside, there's resistance. Your brain wants stimulation, your body wants comfort, and you're there like, nope, we're doing this. So you push. 10 minutes in, you're distracted. 30 minutes in, you're exhausted. An hour later, you've studied but retained nothing. Here's the shift that changed everything for me. I stopped asking, how do I force myself to focus? And started asking, how do I make focus the easiest option? That question rewired my entire routine. Cliffhanger moment. The answer wasn't motivation, it was friction. Most people try to add discipline. I started removing resistance. First change. I stopped starting my day with hard tasks. This sounds backwards, but hear me out. When your first task feels heavy, your brain associates the entire day with effort and stress. So instead, I created a focus warm-up. Nothing intense. 5 minutes. Sometimes it was rewriting one messy note. Sometimes it was opening the document and fixing one sentence. That's it. And here's the magic. Starting became easy. And once I started, stopping felt harder than continuing. Micro cliffhanger. Focus loves momentum more than discipline. Second change. I stopped relying on motivation cycles. You know the cycle. You feel inspired, you work hard, you burn out. Then you feel guilty for days. Creators fall into this all the time. Post consistently for a week, disappear for a month. So I built low-energy systems. I asked myself, what can I do even on my worst days? For studying, that meant a rule. If I don't feel like studying, I only have to study for 5 minutes. No more, no pressure. Most days, 5 minutes turned into 30. Some days, it stayed 5. Both were wins. Because consistency isn't built on heroic days, it's built on tolerable ones. Third change, and this one hit hardest. I stopped using discipline to fight exhaustion. I used to treat rest like a reward. If I finish everything, then I can rest. But I never finished everything, so I never truly rested. Instead, I started scheduling rest before burnout. Short walks, phone-free evenings, actual sleep, not half-rest scrolling. And here's the crazy part. The more I rested on purpose, the easier focus became. Cliffhanger. Rest isn't laziness, it's focus maintenance. Now let's talk about something we all avoid admitting. Being disciplined feels good to our ego. It makes us feel serious, committed, different. But sometimes discipline is just control disguised as progress. You don't need more control, you need more clarity. So I simplified everything. One main task per day, not 10. One. If I did that one thing, the day was a win. Everything else was optional. And suddenly, focus stopped feeling like a fight. It felt like a choice. Here's the big realization. Discipline works best when it's quiet, invisible, built into your environment. your desk setup, your task order, your rules for starting and stopping, not yelling at yourself, not forcing productivity. So if you're watching this thinking, I just need to be more disciplined, I want you to try something different. Tonight, pick one task you've been avoiding. Make the starting version laughably small. 5 minutes, one paragraph, one problem. Then stop before you're exhausted. You're training your brain to associate focus with safety, not pain. And when your brain feels safe, focus multiplies. That's why my focus tripled, not because I became tougher, but because I became smarter about how focus actually works. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a sustainable one. So try this tonight. Just one small start. No force, no pressure. And if this hit home, you're not alone. We're building focus without burnout here. Subscribe if you want systems that work on real days, not just perfect ones. We're not forcing discipline anymore. We're designing for consistency. Let's level up together.